held me.
We are here today with a survivor. It is just a few months after his test by John Kramer, the infamous Jigsaw killer. Please tell us your name and a few things about you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Alexander Stolberg. I work at Angel Mercy Hospital. Me and my patient Raymond were tested by what the media calls a monster. But personally to me, I think he's a glorified genius. I am talking about the Jigsaw killer.
Why do you think Jigsaw chose you, Alexander, to be a part of his game?
Your guess is as good as mine, man. From what I've read on blogs, the newspaper, and from cases that I've seen that have landed in the hospital, usually the people with the background that have usually been tested are drug addicts and suicidal freaks. Now, I personally never used drugs in my life, which I am happy for. I hope that stays that way, but I'll cut to the chase. I'm a horrible person. I have betrayed so many people when they helped me. Each time they've done a favor for me for my own benefit, I just drop them under a bus, and I just watch them try to run after getting run over, like they're just magical super Olympic runners.
What was the premise of your test?
My test, if you will, it involved me having a task to save 5 people that I have fucked over in the past, and if I saved them, I'd lose a piece of myself. As Jigsaw said to me, an eye for an eye. I remember I woke up in this insane asylum, and I'm a doctor, but I was not familiar with this place at all. And I just remember once I got out, I didn't care where exactly I was. I was just happy to even breathe fresh air after leaving this place.
From the looks of it, I can only see that your right eye is missing. So you only saved one person?
I saved 2 people that night, and as a result, it gave me physical scarring to my body and soul. One cost me my eye, and one cost me my ring finger. The 2 people I saved were my nurse, Jake. He covered me multiple times from the hospital and protected me and covered my back on several occasions. And I have utmost respect and still did him dirty. Another one that I saved was the love of my life, Rachel. You know, she recently gave birth to a girl recently. Maybe 9 months before my experience. My baby girl's not going to see me as a normal guy anymore. How I saved my wife was I saw her hanging from a platform and I had to put my hand in this box, and I had to press down on the button. What I didn't know when I pressed down that button is that it was a metal like piece sliding down, and the rest was history. Love hurts at the end of the day. I guess I found out too late. Of course.
You must know that more and more survivors are coming out of basically hiding, telling us that Jigsaw helped them. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, definitely. I wasted so much of my life. I used to be so ungrateful, and I didn't realize until it was too late. Would the world sleep better knowing that I did not survive and I would have been rolling in my grave? Absolutely. The world would have moved on. Life goes on. But I had to sacrifice parts of myself to get redemption. Now I see that as another way to keep on living. You know?
What do you think of John Kramer?
John, Jigsaw, the Boogeyman, whatever you want to call him, he should have gotten help faster than he should have. I worked at the hospital with Dr. Gordon, his oncologist, and Dr. Lindenlin. John underwent chemotherapy and he had an inoperable brain tumor. But the problem is, nobody reacted fast enough. So his condition deteriorated to the point where chemo was not working, and whatever we prescribed him, he was pretty much on death row immediately. But his ideology, if you really think about it, everybody is a puzzle piece. Like, we try to find a purpose in our world, and we're to a bigger game of his. Each person is like, it's unique and an individual. We all fit into a different puzzle. It's crazy to think. Like, it sounds dumb, but if you go through what I did, you would agree with me. I gotta go. Listen, this interview is over, man, alright?
Katherine Collins suffered from child abuse when she was around 5 years old. Her life didn't get any better after that. When Katherine was 10, she was taken from her mother and put into a foster home. She never ended up getting adopted. Katherine left the foster home when she was 18.
My life was never easy, really. Leaving my mom, going to foster home. To this day, I still remember everything.
When Katherine was 22, she quickly became addicted to drugs. She went to rehab multiple times.
Going to a rehab is a good experience, but it never really helped my drug addiction.
Soon after her rehab visits, she came into contact with the Jigsaw killer.
I remember leaving the building, going to my car. And I was knocked out cold from whatever sleeping drug Jigsaw killer was using. I woke up in a house, like an old house. It was a house that I grew up in.
Katherine's father was never really around. Neither was any of her family.
Waking up in that house made my heart ache. There was a tape beside me. It said, "Play me." I pressed play, and it was him, the Jigsaw killer's voice. He said that I ruined my life, wasting it all on drugs. He told me that reliving memories could be good, but it could also ruin my life. Jigsaw then said that the house has been laced with toxic gas, and the only way to keep myself from inhaling it was to tell my mom how much she meant to me. I said, "Mom, I love you more than anything. I know you have no control over your addiction, and I don't blame you for giving me up to the foster home. After I said that, a secret compartment opened, revealing a certain antidote. The cops showed up about 20 minutes later.
Catherine's lungs are damaged from the toxic gas from her old house. Jigsaw's gas was identified as a non-lethal gas. Katherine currently has to use an inhaler to keep her lungs healthy.
I can't run too much because then my lungs start to hurt, but I've been drug-free for 7 months now. I visit my mom's grave every month, thanking her for doing her best in caring for me. Jigsaw taught me to be grateful. My mom did what she could, and Jigsaw showed me that. I wish she was still here with me today. Jigsaw's message still runs through my head every day. I guess you could say he helped me.
I don't know if I can do this, man. Fuck. Okay. How am I gonna start this? Alright. My name is Joel. You don't need to worry about my last name. I'm a Jigsaw survivor. What, did you think I'd have some kind of trophy for this? Hell no. All I got was 6 months in the ICU, 2 years of physical therapy with 2 fucked up legs. I lost my ability to walk. This motherfucker right here, John Kramer.
I want to play a game.
The Jigsaw Killer. That's right, I survived this game. When I first signed up for this little documentary, I didn't realize people were out there actually thanking him for what happened to them. What do you think I'm gonna do? That's what I think of Jigsaw. Fuck him. He doesn't teach anybody anything. He tortures people. He's a piece of shit, and I'm glad he's dead. Fuck him. Fuck his games. Fuck him. Alright. Hold on. Wait. Before I fucking lose it. Y'all want to hear a story, right? How did I survive his game? I mean, that's what I'm here for. And they're paying me, so shit, I'll tell you. But let me just say right off the bat, the game that I was in was no cakewalk, literally. So I first encountered John years ago. It happened by chance, really. Funny how that shit happens. Anyway, fun little fact about me, I was a fucking thief for years. That's right, I stole shit. Money, jewelry, a car here, a car there, but I had one particularly nasty habit. I stole drugs off people. And I'm not talking about weed or coke, I'm talking about pills. Turns out the pharmaceutical industry can be very lucrative for a thief. High-priced pharmaceuticals can earn you some really good money. So yeah, I stole that shit. Sold it on the streets. Easy money. So that day, I was at a pharmacy, ready to run a job. I usually hung out around closing time when the last few orders were being filled. Some days it was the good stuff, some days it was shit. That day was turning out to be an OxyContin kind of day. As I'm listening to the pharmacist talk to this old woman about her dosing, I realized that, yeah, that's a drug that I can sell. So I wait till she leaves the store, follow her to her car, and jump her as she tries to get in. It wasn't clean work, I get it. It was fucked up. But that's what I did for money back then. So I grabbed her purse, and she hit the ground. Hard. I hadn't realized how hard until I saw her eyes roll into the back of her head. I just froze, man. I didn't want to hurt her like that. I just wanted her shit. I'm still staring at her when this old dude comes rushing up from behind me. I step out of the way and clock him. He hits the ground. Our eyes meet momentarily before I go rushing down the alleyway, clutching that purse like it's the Holy Grail. I find out later that night the old woman was rushed to the hospital with blunt head trauma. They said it was a miracle that she survived. The dude who came to her rescue, he was there picking up his meds. He stayed with her till the police and paramedics arrived. The news only identified him as John. 6 or 7 months pass. I'm still doing my thing, but it all comes to an end with the cops banging on my door, me being let away in cuffs. I got 3 years in state for theft and selling of narcotics. I probably should have gotten more. That and I got out in a year. Good behavior, I guess. Damn the overcrowding. So, I adjust back to normal life. I pick up a hustle here, a hustle there, but nothing like what I was doing before. I mean, that old woman kept popping into my head, you know? That and I didn't want to go back to jail either. So one night, I'm at this bar drinking, getting close with this chick. Amy, Mandy, or some shit. I can't remember her name at this point, but we're getting pretty close, and it turned out that she liked to party the way that I did. So we snuck out the back door, headed to her car. As I tried to get in, I got knocked the fuck out. I come to in this factory. My arms are outstretched. They're chained to these machines. I look down. My legs are free, but in front of them are these 2 bear traps. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I start screaming for help, and that's when this figure steps out of the darkness and into the light. And I really start freaking the fuck out, man, because it's wearing this long black robe and this oversized pig mask, and it's walking right towards me. It's holding this tape player in its gloved hand, and before I can ask who the fuck it was, it hit play. And I heard my name. Hello, Joel. I'd like to play a game. I'm gonna spare you the details. All I knew was I was pretty fucked. Everything that I'd ever done was on that recording. According to the pig in the voice, I was a piece of shit, and I was about to get tested. I thought I was gonna die, but instead, I was given a choice. For years, you have damaged the lives of others, taken advantage of those most vulnerable, unable even for a day to walk in their shoes and teach yourself true empathy. Now you have that chance. I can still fucking remember the words. You have lived a life unworthy of the mobility that you now possess. Today, you must decide which set of limbs are most precious to you. How much damage your body can afford. The choice is yours. I had 2 of these in 13 years. Bastard wanting to voluntarily put my legs in, one right after the other. If I didn't do this within 30 seconds, the machines that were chained to my arms would rip them out of their sockets. I'm not gonna lie, I started begging like a little bitch. I didn't want to do what they're asking me to do. Nobody would. But the pig just calmly walked over the control panel and flipped the switch, and the machines came to life. I glanced at a clock sitting at a rotted desk near it, and I realized that if I didn't do something, I wasn't gonna make it. So do you wanna know what I did? I stared that pig right in its eyes, and I shoved one of my legs into one of those bear traps. I heard a snap, and immediately my leg felt like it was on fire. I only had moments. Trying not to puke, I shoved my other leg into the other bear trap. At this point, both of my legs are nearly cut off. I start losing consciousness, but the last thing I remember was the chains loosening from my arms before the other machine spun right around. I wake up in the hospital about a month later. I was put in a medically induced coma. I was alive, but I was never going to walk again. The doctors were amazed that I survived, given the amount of blood that I had lost. Even more amazing was that help arrived when it did. According to the police, somebody tipped them off. As fucked up as it sounds, Kramer wanted me to be found. Still don't get it. So yeah, that's my fucked up survivor story. So did I learn some kind of lesson from Jigsaw? I'd be lying if I said I did. I've done some pretty horrible things in my life. I've made some really bad decisions. But what he did was evil. If you say that you want to help people, you don't kill them. If you believe you're saving them, you sure as hell don't tear them to pieces. So did Jigsaw help me? No. The law did. Rehab did. As far as I'm concerned, Jigsaw is not the messiah that his fans make him out to be. He's exactly what the media says he is. A sick murderer. So yeah, my name is Charlie. And I'm a Jigsaw survivor. And no, he didn't help me. I hope he burns in hell.
My name is Michael Price, and I'm a Jigsaw survivor. Yeah, I'm one of the survivors. I'm one of the lucky ones that got to keep breathing after being tested in one of his sadistic games. The strange thing is, I wasn't even tested by John Kramer himself, or even one of his well-known apprentices carrying out his legacy. I was tested by someone else. I know it's a little bit confusing, so let me backtrack real quick and kind of give you a little insight on just who the heck I am. I work for the police department as a case consultant. I'm a private investigator, and I offer my services to police on a regular basis. It's a good career, and it gives me a chance to actually help people. I specialize in missing person cases. And it's not that sleazy stuff like spying on a cheating spouse or something like that. About a year ago, I get a call from someone at the PD. This grizzled cop named Whannell. Real swell guy. And by that, he was this tough as nails detective who was just as shady as the people that he was after. Turns out he's working on this developing case, and I was shocked when he told me what's going on. We're thinking it's a copycat, but looks like Jigsaw's back from the dead, he said. I froze. John Kramer? The infamous Jigsaw killer? But he had been dead for a decade. And the last I heard, his apprentices were either dead or missing. Everybody knew Amanda Young was dead, and that monster Hoffman was probably rotting for all we knew. Yet Halloran was telling me that bodies were turning up, victims of a new deadly game. He gave me a few other details. One, that John Kramer's body had mysteriously vanished, replaced with the body of Edgar Munson. It was all too bizarre. I knew that there was no way that Jigsaw, the real Jigsaw, was alive. His body was found by investigators, so it had to be a copycat. I tried to prod more information out of Detective Halloran, but he cut me off. Listen, Michael, just shut up for a minute. Nobody knows you're in on this one. It's supposed to be hush-hush shit. I'm in charge of this one, and I'm working with a set of people exclusively. But I need someone on the outside. Something isn't adding up. I need you to follow someone for me. It's this guy named The Call Drop. Just like that. And that was the last I ever heard from him. It didn't take long for me to see the news reports of the Jigsaw killer's return. The press were all over this thing now. I went to go to the station and go see Holleran to see who he wanted me to follow, but Holleran had gone MIA. But things got even weirder. The next few days was a circus, to say the least. From what was released by the police, Holleran, the cop in charge of bringing in John Kramer's ghost, was actually the copycat. They found all sorts of incriminating evidence suggesting he was the one pulling the strings behind the new game. They even found skin samples cut into the shape of jigsaw pieces in his freezer. Man, it was messed up. But he was nowhere to be found. The police were now on the hunt for him. But a part of me knew something was up. Look, Holleran was a cop that bent the law so much it might snap. But a sadistic murderer? So why reach out to me? To have a twisted game of cat and mouse with him? What was his motive with having me involved? Whatever was going on, I was now on the case. But nobody knew. Or so I thought. After trying to track down Holleran on my own for a few weeks, and while the police were trying to piece together the modus operandi of their new Jigsaw killer, my house gets broken into. I was terrified. Was it Holleran? He would have been the only one who knew that I thought something was up. But then again, off the record at that. While trying to put my place back together, I get jumped. I barely had a chance to react before I get slammed into the wall and I feel something get injected into my neck. It wasn't long after that I passed out. I woke up to the sound of sobbing behind me. I raised my head, which took a great deal of effort. As I opened my eyes, I saw that my head was encased in some bird-like contraption, with spikes needling precariously close to my head. Starting to panic, I stood up, and I felt something unhook from the back of the apparatus on my head. I spin around and see this woman on the floor with the same apparatus on her head. Although hers is a crude box-like design with knives crisscrossing her face. I approach her, and I see that there's a cord connecting our devices together, trailing to a small metal box on our left. She's bawling her eyes out, but she's still sitting down. She must have noticed something that I unfortunately did not, because now she's yelling at me. No. Oh God, you idiot. You just started it. I didn't fully understand what she meant until I heard a loud buzzing and a voice crackle overhead. Hello, Michael. Hello, Natalie. I want to play a game.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Natalie. I want to play a game. The rules are simple, and the game even simpler. One of you is innocent, the other is guilty. Fate has brought you both here for one purpose, to allow the truth to set you free. The device attached to your heads is connected to a timer of 3 minutes. When the clock hits 0, the device will become pressurized and fire a pin into your brain, piercing your skull completely and ending your just and unjust existences for good. To avoid this scenario, one of you must allow yourself to be disfigured enough to save both yourself and your cellmate. There is a lever on the side of the device that must be cranked manually. Natalie, you must turn the lever and allow yourself to be scarred. just like those whose lives have been ruined by your ugly, deceptive ways, or else you and Michael will never see the outside of this room again. Will you choose to save a life at the expense of your own? Make your choice.
It was like those tapes that I heard all those years ago, made available on the dark web on Jigsaw rules. Whether they were doctored or not, it made no difference. It sounded like John Kramer. As I listened to him speak, the woman seemed to quiet down as well. He was telling us the rules. Jesus Christ. We were in one of his traps. No sooner than the message had concluded that I heard the faint ticking at the base of my skull. I stared at the woman, Natalie, in horror. I knew I wasn't messing anybody's life up, man. I was helping find missing people. I looked at Natalie, and her face said it all. Fuck no. I am not who that psychopath says I am, she screamed. I held up my hands, trying not to exacerbate her emotional instability. Listen, I told her. You know he knows something about you, about us. We don't have much time. Natalie looked at me, her eyes tearing up. I'm not a bad person. It's just my job. I'm a fucking tabloid columnist. I steadied my breathing, realizing we were losing precious seconds on the minute. It felt as if a minute had already passed. Natalie, I help find missing people. That's what I do. But I'm no saint. Sometimes I have to dig up dirt too. You have a choice now, though. You can help save me, so I'm not one of those people that go missing. I know it will hurt. Fuck, I know. But you have to do this, or we'll both die. Please, you can get us out of here. I'm trying to talk her into this grisly act, but we're down to the wire here. I could just feel the trap around my head spring into kill mode. That was when Natalie reached out for my hand and I grasped it. With a look of fiery determination, she grabbed the lever on her apparatus. Okay. He says I have to do it until it releases? I nod vigorously. Yeah. Come on, you can do it. I watched Natalie crank the lever. I grimaced as she began hollering, as the blades shifted inward into her face, cutting her forehead, her cheek, and her chin. Blood dripped down from her face and onto my arm. I squeezed her hand, praying as the ticking got louder. She began screaming as the blades cut her flesh as she slowly cranked the lever. When the ticking got the loudest, I heard a loud snap and felt we both were goners. That's when I felt the device collapse off my head and topple onto the ground. Natalie nearly collapsed to the floor as hers whirled loudly and fell off to the ground too. I saw that they were triggered simultaneously, snapping as they hit the ground like vicious creatures. I almost threw up thinking about how that would have been our head turned into tomato pulp.
Alright, so I was asked to put this documentary together regarding potential victims of the Jigsaw killer. However, it is open to discussion that some of these killings, traps and all that were put together by a copycat killer or killers. I should also state my name's Colin Breachwell. I was asked to work on this project, he helped me, by the director himself. I'm also a newspaper columnist who also works for various news companies locally. So basically, most of the time I get early scoops or leaks, and the rest sorts itself out. Don't even ask me how I get the leaks, it's very, very fucking disturbing. So anyway, about a month or two back, I was asked to get a hold of Michael Price, one of the victims that he helped me. So I sent him the list of questions and like some details if he wanted to discuss anything like that. He sends most of them. We just continue back and forth through email or call, just like run down the questions and all that for his segment. And his last segment he sent just ended abruptly, and I've not heard from him since. Anyway, over the last few weeks, I've tried getting into contact with him via calls, texts, emails, and that's actually pretty much it. WhatsApp, but no one ever uses that anymore. I've also added in this segment here because he just hasn't gotten back to me. I just hope he really does soon.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do it. Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. I'm sorry. You guys are you're having me relive a game-changing event of my life, and just having to relive it and talk about it. It's alright. I knew what I was getting myself into when I agreed to tell you guys. To tell you about my experience. So, I just, rip the Band-Aid off, Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. I carried Natalie out of that room and up these dark stairs that led out of a dilapidated cabin. We were in the woods, somewhere. After walking a winding trail for at least 10 minutes, we were found by a couple of hikers, and they hurried us to the nearest ranger station where we were airlifted to the nearest hospital. The police would question me extensively. They would ask me who, what, where, how, and why. I didn't have any answers unless it was about that eerie message that was on the tapes or the traps. They did, however, find this diabolical torture room in that cabin, but all they found was the mangled remains of our traps, and that was it. I kept thinking, Halloran must have been behind this, but then that familiar skepticism kept creeping up once more. It didn't make any sense. Back at the station, I did a little bit more digging into Natalie. She really was a bad apple as tabloid Spencers go, having done numerous of columns from affairs to suicides. Some of it was pretty stomach-churning stuff. She was poisonous, alright. Yet I still felt for her. She was at the hospital, her literary sins paid with blood. I guess I took solace in the fact that she saved my life by confronting her guilt. Damn. After what felt like hours at the station, I was finally let go. But on my way out, I ended up bumping into this guy wearing scrubs and looked like he was in a hurry. For 1 second, I thought he was about to chew me out, but then he looked at me and his face relaxed a bit. He said, "Hey man, it's been a long night." I said, "Yeah, tell me about it." He eyed me curiously. He said, "Well, hey man, you get out of here. Nothing but madness of here. Have a good night, Michael." Before I could say anything, he hurried to this room talking to some redhead and similar scrubs. The thing that got me was I've never met that man before in my entire life, yet he knew my name. I went to the clerk and she said that was Logan. He was a medical examiner for the station. Of course. He must have been looking at all the Jigsaw-related bodies at the... It makes sense. Well, that's my story. My name is Michael Price, and I'm a Jigsaw survivor. Well, sort of. I guess I'll just leave you with this. Jigsaw is more than a man, ladies and gentlemen. He's an idea now, a legacy. Now, I don't know if it's Halloran that's the new executioner carrying out his will or if it's someone else. But Jigsaw, and what he stood for, is alive and well. Participating in this film, I'm amazed to hear how much of an effect that he had on people. And I'm surprised to hear that some people even thank him for their life-changing experiences. I guess I'm still in shock of it, even this far removed. To sum up my experiences, I take a lot more sleep medicines. That's for sure. There's one thing that never left my mind, however. Jigsaw called me innocent. While he put me in a terrifying situation, there was a reason. Maybe, just maybe, Natalie saving both of us wasn't. That bad people can save the innocent if they wanted to. Damn. No wonder you guys call this He Helped Me. I guess in his own sick way, he does.